Hello, everyone. Tony here. Welcome to the new year, 2022. Seems like forever since we've done one of these, even though it's only been a couple weeks. But as most of you know, Kristen and I made a huge life decision, and that is to work toward going on the road full time. Through RV. We're going to buy an RV and hit the road. Um, yeah, actually, I was going to bring that up, Debbie. I'm glad that you mentioned it. Um, One of the things that I want to do, especially with these videos being public on YouTube, is continue to build my channel. And one of the ways that I can do that is for you to like these videos. Of course, I haven't taught this one yet. But also, if you could subscribe to my channel, that'd be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, so that said, that out of the way, I'll probably mention it again at the end. But so Kristen and I made the official decision that we wanted to go full-time RV because we miss travel, and it's kind of hard to do with a retail store. And of course, I can do what I do from pretty much anywhere, and did that before we got together, and she did as well. So the first step that we needed to take with that was to put our house on the market, which it's been officially on the market for not quite a week, I guess. We've had 2 showings so far. We'll see how that goes. We had our store professionally evaluated, and so we're getting ready to start promoting that for sale. And what's cool is that we're selling it on an up note. We if you saw the email that I sent out the other day, we've done really well with it. The first full year that we were open, I think we were in the mid 50s, like 54,000. And then last year, or 2020, we were at 89. And this past year, 2021, we did 154, I think, something like that, thousand. So kind of a good time to sell a store when you're experiencing a lot of growth as opposed to losing money. So we got it into the black last year, increased our profits, our customer base, all of that. So we're really excited about that. So we, yeah, big changes. I'm selling my Mustang. It hasn't sold yet. And a lot of our stuff, because, we have 5,000 square feet here plus 3 storage units. And the RV that we want to get, even though it is 43 feet long, it's still only about 350, 370 square feet total. So it's a bit of a crunch down. We are very much stuffed people, especially from all of the years of buying and selling at auctions and selling in antique booths and in retail stores and all of that. You accumulate a lot of stuff. So we've been going through that. Matter of fact, Kristen is sorting through our library right now. We're donating, I would say, probably 95% of our books to a local library who has a store, and then the money that they make from their store sales goes back to help with the library, help it expand, pay for help, the librarians and all of that kind of stuff. So we thought that was a cool cause, nonprofit. And so, we're giving them thousands of books. I don't think they have any idea just yet. But so we've been donating a lot, selling some. It's been kind of cool, begging my girls to take stuff, pretty much begging everybody to take stuff. So we are officially moving out of this place March 1st, whether it has sold or not. We're moving into an apartment until the house sells and we buy our RV and stuff like that. So anyway, maybe that's more information than you need, but there you have it. That's what's going on with us. And so as a result, it kind of impacts what I do and the time that I have. And so the last couple of weeks has been us packing. Basically, we have a big ass dumpster sitting out back. So, moving stuff that way as well. So it's been quite the challenge, honestly. I turned 60 this year. Boom. And didn't quite imagine that I would do this at this age, but you're as young as you feel, and frankly, I feel pretty damn young. So I'm excited. I can't wait. Me and my camera cannot wait. And so anyway, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Also, I just discovered today, this is kind of cool. Expert Media Show, which was the predecessor to Expert Media Webinars, started 10 years ago this year, in July. July of 2012 is whenever I started Expert Media Show. And it's gone through a couple iterations. I'm over 400 shows now total between all the various iterations, including Expert Media Webinars. So I'm thinking in July, we should have a big shindig. I don't know what that would look like just yet. It just occurred to me today, this afternoon. But we're going to have to celebrate 10 years, I think that's just awesome. And, one other thing, I think I mentioned it in my email the other day. One of the things that Chris and I really want to do is we start traveling the country, which will probably be next year, really, all things said and done. We want to have meetups. So I'm going to be posting very regular where we are at any given time so that we can connect with you guys whenever we are out and about. And we have a lot of exploring that we want to do, and definitely want to catch up with all of you. I want to lead some photo outings like I did several years ago. And we're going to go rock digging and all kinds of fun things like that. So we're still kind of formulating how that's all going to look, but I think it'd be really fun and exciting to take all of the online webinars and interactions and community and all of that kind of stuff and bring it down into real life again, not that we're going to sponsor big webinar or big conferences or anything like that. That ain't going to happen. But just to be able to hang out, sit around the fire and chit chat and all those kinds of things, I think would be a lot of fun. So we are planning to do some of those kinds of things once we hit the road. But like I said, we're probably about a year, 9 months to a year out till that happens, because, we have things to sell, we have things to buy. And then, boom, here we go. So anyway, let me do an official introduction. I'll probably keep everything in here anyway, but welcome to Expert Media Webinars. This is our first one of 2022. I decided to call this a new season. I don't know why. New year, so we'll call it season 2, since last year technically was season 1, I guess. And I thought it would be fun to kick this off with a bit of a bang. You know how I am when it comes to AI tools and research and all of that. And I've been researching a lot in a lot of different areas, some of which you'll find out sooner than later. Some you'll find out later. But tonight, I thought it'd be cool to share some of the new AI tools that I found I've been playing around with. I noticed in the various the Facebook poll that I've been running, AI tools and training has been bouncing back and forth between number 1 and number 2 positions, which isn't really surprising. So rather than take these and just build them all into a course, I figured I would just share them here. So anyway, one of the things that I've discovered in all of the research, which I do about at least once a week, twice a week, specifically on certain types of tools, is that there's a lot of new AI tools being developed and released. One of the reasons for that is that some of the technology is finally starting to be unlocked, and there's new databases that are being developed. In some cases, out of necessity, in other cases, in response to certain databases still being locked down. DALL-E is a really good example of that was developed by OpenAI. They haven't officially released it to the public, so there's some other folks that are saying, well, screw that, we'll just build our own. And so as a result, that is leading to new opportunities. I love a lot of the creative artistic stuff, but the AI tools, many of them are heading more photorealistic, which in some cases I love, and in other cases it scares the living crap out of me because of deepfakes and all of that. And you know what? Let me go full screen here. I didn't shave, so you don't need to look at my unshaven face all night. So I don't know why this is doing this. Well, actually, I do know why. It's a combination between StreamYard and PowerPoint. They don't play well together. Okay, so some of the tools that I've been finding are better than others because it's just like a developer or programmer saying, hey, this is cool, let's play. And others are taking it much more seriously, which I love. And so even some of the lower res solutions like we're going to look at tonight, the reason why I decided to include them is because they offer controls that we haven't seen before or new features that we haven't seen before. And that's kind of exciting. And the best part is that because with what I'm sharing tonight anyway, these are all text to image based AI tools. So VQGAN plus clip is the technical terms for them. But the awesome news is that the workflows that I've shared in the past in some of my other AI trainings still work perfectly with these new tools because it's basically the same technology. And so all of the final uses still apply, but the thing that I find really interesting as I've been exploring some of these new tools is that even though the underlying process is still the same, there can still be variations to the end results that you're going to get because there's a lot more databases to draw from instead of like one or two, which is what the AI uses to reference what you mean when you say starry sky. You know, like how does the AI know what a starry sky is? Well, it all depends on the databases that it's trained to. And some of the databases are bigger than others. Some of them take a very specific approach. So as a result, like one database might be really good for animals, but not so much for people or landscapes. Other databases are good for pretty much everything. So as a result, it really has some benefits to explore some of the other options, like ones that we're going to look at tonight. All right, so there are 3 tools. Actually, there's technically 4 because I discovered a new one later this afternoon and I forgot to update this number. So we're going to actually look at 4 new AI tools tonight. The first one is called Hypnogram, Wombo, and then there's a developer called, I have no idea, Accomplice. He developed his own VQGAN plus clip. And then the third one, which I don't have listed here, but it is in my later slides, is called DALL-E. So it's basically a Russian developer decided that he was going to create his own DALL-E database and did a pretty damn awesome job of it. So we're going to look at that one a little bit later as well. Each produce good results. The output sizes vary. Most of them are free, with one exception, and that's Hypnogram. They charge for high-res images, which you really want to do because the low-res images don't even work most of the time, but they're cheap. Like I bought 500 credits for $4, and one render is 25 credits. So very inexpensive. And Wombo I really like. They offer the largest output, and they're crazy fast. Now, Wombo I actually talked about in the art print course that I released right at the end of the year. So some of you have probably seen that. You can use it web-based, which is what we're going to do tonight, but it's also available as an app, Wombo. And I find myself more and more playing with it wherever we are on my phone, just rendering and saving these outputs because it does a really great job. So the first thing that we're going to look at, the first site that we're going to look at is Hypnogram. And it's very basic in what it offers. Let me switch over here. Yeah, very basic. You just type in your image right here at the top. They have a switch by default. High resolution is turned off. They're 800 by 800 pixels, so not a horrible size. And then they have different tips, which you guys are pretty much familiar with as far as, you know, different things that you can enter and all of that, especially if you decide to use some of the artists that I've shared before and, you know, those kinds of things. So like, let's say that we wanted to, I didn't pick a specific topic. Since I like sci-fi, let's do Spaceport. You don't have to use an artist name, but I like to. David Mattingly. So he's one of my new favorites that I've been experimenting with. And then it says here, very much like Night Cafe, actually, how many credits you have. And then you click this to pay the 25 credits. And it takes a little bit. So while it is doing its thing, it takes more than a minute. But while it's doing its thing, I'm going to switch back to the slides and give you a heads up on the next one. Wombo is the next one that we're going to look at. It's a little more stylized. None of these have the level of detail and flexibility that you'll find with Accomplice or with Night Cafe Studio. But this one here that we'll look at next, Wombo, is probably the closest. And you can get some really, really beautiful results out of this one. I'm impressed with it. How are we doing? Oh, good. So this is Spaceport by David Mattingly. Kind of cool. I love the fact that it has depth of field and everything. Some areas are blurry and the close-up like spaceship thing and all of that is kind of cool. So all in all, pretty cool. And I think just for grins and giggles, we're going to use this as our frame of reference. And of course, you can download it right here. Just click on that and it downloads it. And so same size. I guess you could probably right mouse click and save it as well. You know, whatever you see fit, however you see fit to use it. So that is Hypnogram. You know, it basically just experiment. There's not any other control other than putting in your name. That's the only control. Okay. So next up is Dream by Wombo. I guess that's what it's technically called, is Dream. And I guess I must have copied. Let's do this. Okay, now one thing that is interesting about this, they have like suggestions for prompts, and then they have art styles, which I actually really like. Um, we're going to start off with no style. Okay. And they just actually added a couple new ones to this within the last week or so, because a couple of these weren't here before. I mean, I've used them all, but before they weren't here. So we're going to go with no style initially and hit create. Now watch how fast this thing goes. Boom, done. And one of the things that I like about this one is that they are adding a feature where you can mint your image as an NFT. Okay. And so when it comes to saving, I usually turn off show prompt and artwork, although it might make sense to do that. And then just hit save. And one thing that I find is slightly annoying is that they do everything within the context of a trading card. Not that that's necessarily a bad idea, but what if I don't want it as a trading card? You know what I mean? Like they're another one where they're pushing buying print. Who's going to do that? I mean, seriously. But what I've been doing, honestly, is just opening this up in Photoshop and just trimming it to the inside of the area. And you'll notice that, let's see if we can go back here to this. You can see resemblances, right? Because it's the same artist, but there definitely are differences as well, especially like from a depth of field perspective. So, you know, that's kind of cool. Now, Loretta, I'm not going to take time to answer that question right now because I've taught a lot on AI and I've explained all of that in detail in the courses. Okay. I'm not a huge fan of repeating myself. All right. So once you create your artwork, you can hit the backspace and then create it again. And just to kind of show you the variations, let's choose Baroque. I Baroque it. Haha, bad dad joke. So it's still going to have the same basic feel because of the artist influence. But this is a different approach or addition to it. So like, you know how in some of the other AI art programs, you could put Baroque style or something like that. And, you know, it turns out more in that style. It's basically the same thing, except they're, you know, in this case, you don't have to enter in that word. So they're kind of doing it for you. And I actually kind of like that. That looks super cool, actually. So let's try a different style. One of my favorites that I've gotten some really cool results. I'll just go down through these. We're not going to demo all of them. You can go play later. Steampunk, I've gotten some really cool stuff out of. Now, this is based on my own personal art style preferences. Steampunk, fantasy art, and synthwave. They're probably my 3 favorites. Although Dolly gives you some weird ass shit, just being frank about it, because it's Salvador Dali. I mean, come on. But let's do a steampunk one here. Exact same prompt. Man, it's dry in my office, and I'm running a humidifier on high and drinking tons of water. Humidity in our house this morning was 29%. It's like, no wonder we're drying out. So definitely a different spin on what we've seen from some of the other styles, but you know, a bit more grungy looking, I guess you could say. Whereas like synthwave is going to be more like neon Tokyo kind of style. But you notice how fast this thing is? This is definitely the fastest AI art generator that I found anywhere. None of them are this fast. I don't know how they're doing it, frankly, but it's super fast. Yeah, look at that. Ooh, super cool looking. And of course, as always, with any of these AI art generators, you can go with the exact same thing multiple times and you're going to get a different result every time. And so like one thing that I do, especially on my phone, it basically works the same way on your phone. I just keep hitting redo, and then save, save it to my photos. And then just keep redoing it over and over and over again, which is why my photos folder on my phone is filled with AI art. Kind of looks like the Millennium Falcon from the front, flying, getting ready to fly up. So you get the idea. It works really well. And then, of course, as I've shared in the past, depending on the artist that you choose, if you want to use that path, is going to give you a different result. So like Jeff Soto is another artist that I really like. So if I put him in instead and go with, let's do fantasy art with Jeff here. I have no idea what it's going to look like because I haven't tried this yet. I like where this is heading. Yeah, it's really different. I like it. Yeah. That's pretty cool. Let's go back. I'm curious to try something. I've experimented with this in a couple other programs, but not this one. Unreal Engine. The whole thing about Unreal Engine, I've been studying this Unreal Engine, getting ready to dive into it hardcore. The level of real, it's basically a 3D modeler engine, animation, all of that. The level of detail and realism that you can put out with this program is unbelievable. They use it for gaming systems, and a lot of the games that are created today are done using Unreal Engine, and it's free. I mean, you can download it for free, which is just crazy. So, yeah, look at that. That brought in a little bit more detail and stuff. I don't know what in the world that is. But anyway, you get the idea. So, very cool option. Fun to play with. All right. So next up we have Accomplice, I guess. Much different interface. I'm quite sure this person is more of a programmer than an interface designer, but that's okay. He has a lot of really cool features here where it matters. So I'm going to use the same phrase before. One thing that he introduces in this one is a seed number, which you'll also find in Night Cafe Studio. You have the ability to change the seed. And for whatever reason, this default seed is always 42, which of course, you know, as we know, is the secret of the universe and all of that, or the answer to the universe, or however it goes. But you have number of iterations, so you can increase that. The default is fine. The width, I'm going to leave lower right now, but you can also add in images to influence it, like you can with Night Cafe and Accomplice. And some other features here that you really don't need to play around with regarding power and render times and those kinds of things. But we're going to just basically go with the defaults here and see what we get. And one thing that's kind of cool about this is that I hit submit and you can't really tell that anything's happening. But if you scroll back up to the top in the upper right hand corner, it tells you how long the render is going to take. Okay, so you can see here 18 seconds versus 108, but sometimes it goes much faster, as it just did. Sometimes it goes longer than what it says. But one of the cool features about this program is that it creates an output image and an output video simultaneously. Now, you can do video with Night Cafe, but pretty cool end result. And of course, the video is related to the image. And so basically what this is doing is compiling together all of the render layers into a video. Okay, so like for instance, if we increase the max iterations to say 150, the video is going to be slightly longer. This one is 5 seconds long. And of course, if we go up to say 400, it's going to take longer, obviously. So it's still saying 106 seconds. The time, though, is really going to depend on how much use there is for the computing power. Certain times of the day, it's going to take longer than other times of the day. I mean, that's just computer. Jim asked, how does the resolution compare in Wombo to the others? I would, if I was doing a comparison with some of the others, I would say Wombo is probably closer to Night Cafe than Accomplice, but that's only because they're using the same databases. Frankly, I like Accomplice's database choices better. But there's no right or wrong. Resolution-wise, a lot of these are outputting something similar in size, but you can just scale it up using, you know, an AI-based image scaler. Like there's a bunch of them out there. Lately, I've been using the one that is in Photoshop, the neural filter for super scale or whatever it's called. I've been using that one, but there's others that are also available. Bonnie asks, can the video be saved and posted to a website? That's a good question. I'm going to go with yes. It says download. So this is the video. Kind of cool. And you'll notice that the video is now 7 seconds long, which, you know, we increased the number of iterations. So let me just kind of zoom in here. So that's why the video runs longer. It's alive. Kind of fun and crazy, but you get the idea. So you have variables. Obviously, we can go bigger. We can increase our max iterations for comparison purposes. Accomplice typically starts with 200 iterations. We're at 150 here. With Night Cafe, you can push it up to 1200. It takes longer, but you can do it. So that is this one. So the next one that I didn't have in my initial list is Rue Dali. Now, this one is a bit different in that it works the same. And I haven't tested this word here or this phrase, so I have no idea what we're going to get. But the big difference between this and the other databases that we've accessed and seen is that this is more photorealistic. Okay, so we might actually have to try something different. I hate these damn capture things because they, positioning wise, you can't always tell what it is. Try that. Now, one thing that's interesting is that you can input your text query in 107 different languages. That's kind of cool. Try that. So this is what you get with this. Now, they have an app, Salute. And you can just take your phone and scan this barcode, QR code, and it will take you to the store. The problem with that is that the entire app is in Russian. So unless you can speak Russian, which I can't, you can't really do much with it. And then they also have a Telegram bot here, which I have not tried. See how we're doing here. Yeah, so their take on this is really, really different. You know, it not artistic at all. The whole thing is photorealistic. Actually, it looks kind of like a lost vacuum cleaner. So let's try this Siberian Husky. And I'm not going to put an artist name in. We'll just go with that. HMCM. Now, I haven't tried this. So I have no idea what we're going to get, but given that it is more focused on photorealistic, I'm optimistic that it'll actually look like a husky dog. So we'll let it do its thing. While it's doing its thing, I'm going to switch back over to the slides and tell you about some of the new upcoming things. I don't know why that happened. Things that are coming with Accomplice. Okay. Roxanne, I'll try a person next. Okay. Just see what we get out of it. So there's some new changes. I've been talking with Adam. He's been at work, hard work, adding a bunch of new features to Accomplice. They're going to be rolling out, fingers crossed, sometime next week. But he's adding in some new models. And the Rue Dolly is actually one of the models that he's adding into Accomplice, which is cool. And then there's another one that he's adding as well. Plus, he's also adding in style transfer, which is where you take the style of one work of art and apply it to like a photograph or something else. He's adding in abstract geometric designs. And he's also, I don't know if it's going to be in this iteration or not, but he is actively working on AI generated vectors that you can output as SVG files, which nobody is doing right now. He would be the first to offer that. But this is what the style transfer interface is going to look like. You put in your prompt. You enter in the picture that you want the style, as a base style, and then the photo that you want the style applied to. You can choose to put it in a collection or not, and then just hit create. And then, just like other things in Accomplice, it does a pretty good job. So these images that you see here across the bottom, the first 4, these were generated in the new version of Accomplice, I think, using the Russian DALL-E database, which is pretty awesome. I mean, look at this woman, right? And the dog. Very photorealistic. And then this is a cool skeleton with a style, showing the style transfer, which is also super cool. And so it's a huge leap compared to where Accomplice is right now, which is still, in my opinion, the best AI tool on the planet. Another thing that he told me today was that he's dropping the prices. I don't know what that's going to look like, but he's dropping them across the board, including the business plans and the team plans, which is what we have. Which I'm excited about because it means I get to hand him less money per month. But he is going to be very much a stickler on the whole credit system. So just keep that in mind. So in other words, however many credits you have per month, you're going to be limited to that, especially because he'll be making less money off of the software, but lower prices, right? So here's our Husky. All in all, not bad, although the third ear is kind of bizarre. But you get the idea. So let's try person. Red-headed woman. No idea if this will work. V O, is that G? Kind of looks like L. VOGL. Must have been it. So anyway, that's what's happening with Accomplice. Very, very cool news. I was surprised. I knew that he was working on some of these things, but whenever he wrote me initially on Monday, Monday, I guess, and started listing out all the things that he's been working on, I was surprised. And then today he sent me over some additional samples. I asked him if I could tell you guys about the new features that are coming, but the current timeline, as I said, is probably midweek next week, provided that all the testing goes well. So fingers crossed that that'll actually happen. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay. I'm not sure what this is. I might have interrupted it too. I don't know why. Some of these words must obviously be coming from somebody else because I did not put these words in. Okay. Whimsical Forest, yes. Spaceport, yes. These other words, no, not so much. So I have no idea why those are there. Somebody did it, obviously. Let's try Viking. S and L. While we're waiting, I also want to show you some hints for the new course that I'm working on. It's called Hybrid Illustration Styles Volume 8, and we are focusing on art worlds. And the reason why I decided to take this approach is with all the research that I've been doing on NFTs lately, I noticed that there's a huge trend of really great selling art around different kinds of art worlds. And so I thought, oh, this is perfect because it's something that I was looking for as a design idea. And a couple of the NFT artists that I follow also create stuff like this. So I thought it'd be fun. And so this is just a few examples from what we're going to be covering. I don't have the buy link tonight. I know some of you already get it because you signed up for the year. But I will be sending out an email and posting in the groups tomorrow. It's ready to go. I just didn't want to hit you with the link tonight. We're just here to have fun. But we're going to be talking about creating realistic looking planets and maybe not so realistic looking planets of all kinds. I have a couple different programs we're going to get into with that. This on the left here is it's 3D built, but it's based on three-dimensional pixels called voxels. And there's several programs that we're going to look at that enable you to create these basically just using these little building block pixels that you can add to or erase from and then paint, colorize, and everything. This took me 10 minutes, maybe, if even. It's sort of kind of a very basic form of my office, actually. But super fun, super cool. And then we're also going to get into some compositing tricks with 3D elements where, you know, this is a scene that I created on a hexagon, actually, which maybe sometime I'll tell you the meaning of that for me this year. Maybe next week, we'll see. But these are just very basic elements that are all put into an isometric design layout, all in Photoshop or, you know, design tool of choice. So we're going to get into that. There's some other software tools and design strategies that I'll be sharing as well. The good news is that none of you have to learn 3D. None of this is going to involve 3D software or modeling or anything like that. It's either generated or you literally just assemble pieces together or paint them or whatever, which is one of the reasons why I thought it would be a great addition to experiment with. And, you know, combine that together with a lot of these doing extremely well in the NFT space, which of course we're going to be talking a lot about this year and started last year. I thought it was just fitting, you know. So watch for the email and the announcement and everything if you don't have the yearly bundle. This will be available starting tomorrow. And I kept the price down. It's going to be $47, which is pretty typical. I challenge you to find training like this at that price point from somebody who actually knows what they're doing. So anyway, it's going to be fun. Let's go back and see what we have here. Oh, wow. Holy cow. I don't know about Viking, but it kind of looks like Santa Claus being a captain of a ship, kind of snorkeling, you know, on a shipwreck or something. That's crazy. Huh. But see, look at the face. I mean, pretty realistic. Kind of looks like he has the hint of glasses, but not quite. Unibrow kind of dude, maybe. Gary says Viking hippie. Exactly. I think that's it. It's a Viking hippie that, you know, raided a Frenchman's house and stole his hat or something. Yeah, I was surprised. A lot of you jumped in on the yearly training deal, more than double of what we had last year, honestly. So, thank you. I mean, I appreciate that. So, anyways, this is Rue Dolly. You know, you can feel free to experiment with it. What I'll do here is go back through all the URLs again, so that if you want to write them down or screenshot them or whatever, you can do that. So that's Hypnogram, and then Dream, Wombo Art. And then this one here. And then we have this guy, the one that we were just looking at. So, does anybody have any comments or questions or anything like that? I know there's a little bit of a delay, so. So while you're thinking about comments or questions, please remember to like this video, subscribe to my channel. I noticed several of you have. Thank you very much. I'm getting kind of close to 1,000, so I'd love to get over that, and then we'll, you know, go for the next goal, whatever that ends up being. So we're definitely going to be doing these weekly again now that we're started up. Yeah, the topics, I have a number of topics that we're going to be looking at, but I'm not going to reveal what those are yet. Marjorie, the replays, honestly, you know, the link that you clicked on to go to the page where the webinar link was, if you scroll down on that page, they're right there. Or you can watch them right here on my YouTube channel. The UFO bar image is not an actual 3D file. It's a 3D rendered file, like an isometric rendered PNG file, basically. Volume 8 starts, good question, Bunny. It starts next Monday at 6 p.m. It's going to be Mondays, the next 3 Mondays. So the final module 3, will be on the 31st. And I promise that we won't do like 3 courses in the same month. My word. Honestly, I'm too busy packing the house and stuff, Kristen and I both, to be able to pull that off, at least for right now until we get moved. Liz says, I haven't been this excited about art since forever. I know. And that's one of the things that I love about these tools, and I love teaching about these tools, is because there's a lot of us, you know, there's some people who are obviously extremely gifted in creating art and stuff. And, you know, good on them. You know, I love buying their art and all of that. But there's a lot of the rest of us that still have a desire to create cool art. You know, and we just don't have maybe the skill set that others do. But some of these new tools and strategies and those kinds of things that we can use that help assist us in creating stuff that we can be proud of. I mean, it's awesome. I love it. And so, yeah, it's going to be very, very cool. Yeah, you summed it up well, Leslie, that there's something for people like me who can't draw a straight line. I mean, that's why I have a ruler at my desk. You know, there are those. Yeah, the Accomplice changes are going to be very cool, Rose, for sure. Yeah, Monday isn't going to be my default training, Julia. It is for this course, but um, normally I would lean probably more toward Thursdays. But for this one, the Thursdays just didn't really work as well as Mondays. So, uh, Thomas says, "Are you paying money to ask cool questions?" No, but I appreciate her asking them. Vicky says, "I'm so intrigued by NFTs. This makes my year." Yeah, I just got a couple new ones over the weekend. Um, there's an NFT launch called Kingdom of Dwarves, and they're 3D modeled and rendered dwarves in different forms and everything, kings and warriors and all of that kind of stuff. And so a friend of mine and I uh, both got access to mint some of these dwarves, and they are so badass looking. I probably should have put them on a slide. The one guy that I got has like this face paint, and he's got this brutal looking club or something over his shoulder with a skull on it, and I mean it's crazy. Yes, Rose, we are done. All right. Well, thank you all very much for joining me here tonight. I really appreciate it. We will return here next week. And I have no idea what we'll be talking about, but it will be fun. Kelda, I'm not going to get into the explanation of what minting NFTs is. If you purchase the last course that I taught on NFTs, art NFTs, that explains everything in great detail. And it would take a little bit of time for me to get into that and explain it all again. I can, Jim, absolutely. Let's see here. So here is the first one. If you want to screenshot that, click, click, click. Here's the next one. numero 3. Trace. And the last one is here. Val says, great class. Looking forward to volume 8. I'm looking forward to teaching it, frankly. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, one of the things I did, Kelda, with the NFT class that I taught at the end of last year is, especially like if you want to understand the process, module 4 breaks down exactly step by step what you need to do to buy and sell NFTs. But I'll be talking more about it again. Guys, whenever I'm showing screenshots, pay attention. Okay. Plus, you have replays that you can access. All right. All right. Well, that's all that I have. Thank you all very much for joining me here tonight. And I will see you next. Well, those of you who are joining in a new course that you'll find out about, I'll see you on Monday. For everyone else, for Extra Media Webinars, we will be back on next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will talk again soon.